Hey, it's Colleen.
Hi, it's Kate.
And it's Megan.
And we're the
Three Scheme Queens.
Join us each week as we take turns presenting a brand new conspiracy theory or mystery.
From shadowy cover-ups and unexplained events to viral rabbit holes, we bring the tea,
It's piping.
the facts, and the tinfoil crowns.
Join the conversation, laugh along with us, and question everything.
When it's all over, we'll tell you what we think, and we'll try to prove it to you.
So grab your drink, hit the follow, and tune in every Tuesday.
Is this thing on?
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Hi.
welcome back.
Welcome to the season,
Insert ocean background noise.
part 3.
Should we do a refresher on what the season is for our new listeners?
Well, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Because I don't know if we've re-explained what it is. Each summer, we decide to do episodes inspired by the sea. Because how much of the ocean do we actually know? It's like
3%.
3% of the ocean. And there are so many unknown creatures that we had too many. And so we decided to make a series of episodes annually inspired by them.
Exactly.
So we've done dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
We've done octopi.
Yep.
We've done eels. We did megalodon.
We do USOs.
USOs, submersibles.
Yep.
We've done a lot. So this is season 3. Add some seasoning.
Yeah.
Give me a little salt and pepper.
Last week we did a little super episode
Yep.
of our favorite
My
underwater animal
Yeah.
mysteries.
my favorite part about that remix is the cover you chose for the Spotify page.
That was good.
That was funny.
Yeah, Lisa Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was iconic.
AI made that. But yeah, I said in the style of Lisa Frank, please, because Kate said, I don't want to hear about the dolphins. I just want to be a dolphin girl with my Lisa Frank
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is
Dolphins have been in the news recently,
Oh
too.
my God.
Gerald in Florida, but then also for the military,
Yeah.
which we did talk a lot about in that episode. So
Right.
again, guys, if you didn't listen,
You heard it first here.
Yeah.
heard it first here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's summer. It's getting hot. So should we get into our
Drink check.
Drink check.
Da-da-da.
It's summer. We're not allowed to talk about the weather.
Now that we're in our 3rd season and it is summertime once again, and every episode we get a little thirsty. And what are we drinking today?
Oh, I'm so happy you asked. Our friends at Element sent us some electrolytes to try.
You got a little PR package.
Yeah. We are not new to Element because, we do some long hours and we get thirsty.
Mhm.
So we fill up on some electrolytes. So today we're drinking the lime salt. I really like this.
Yeah, it's not
actually.
too sweet at all. It's like a perfect mix.
Yeah. I do like to drink this after I have had a little too much.
The morning after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it helps with hydration. There's another fun thing that you could do with this is if you're by the pool,
A little
you want to have a
mocktail.
little, well, you can have a mocktail, but you also have a little cocktail.
I'm
Ooh.
thinking this is delicious. And I was just thinking, what if we just put a little tequila?
Exactly. A little
Go
tequila, a
crazy.
little splash of seltzer in there.
Yeah.
It's like I love it with bubble water.
Yeah. It's delicious by the
Mhm.
pool. So thanks, Element.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For the first episode of season 3, we're talking about a lighthouse mystery.
Oh my
It
gosh.
felt oceanic.
Which coast?
Off the coast of Scotland.
Oh, right.
As I've said, because
Oh.
Colleen has been practicing her Scottish accent,
Oh, yalas.
and it's not good.
Shout out to Mermaid Girl.
But yeah,
I went to Scotland and heard nobody with a Scottish accent.
No.
I met it's only British people.
Mermaid Girl usually encourages Colleen and all of the crazy things that Kate and I discourage her from.
She's been shutting me down now.
But she did say something after a couple drinks, I think, where you were like, I'm so good at accents. And she just looked at you and said,
She made fun of me.
Are you?
Yeah. It was funny because also when she said, "Are you?" she was sitting right next to Megan, and then Colleen didn't really hear like who actually said it. Colleen started yelling at Megan.
I was in the cups and I was mad.
So anyway, I picked this because it's a lighthouse that felt
I love lighthouses.
maritime, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
the story feels a little bit cold and windy and maybe not quite summery, but we're gonna talk about it.
Well,
I'm so excited. I've been inside many.
On a remote cluster of windswept islands off the coast of Scotland, 3 lighthouse keepers vanished without a trace. No bodies, no signs of a struggle, just an abandoned lighthouse, a stopped clock, and a mystery that has haunted the sea for more than a century.
Whoa.
Fuck.
This week, we're headed to the Flannan Isles Lighthouse, where in December of 1900, keepers James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur disappeared from the isolated island of Eilean Mòr. When the relief ship finally arrived after days of storms, something felt wrong immediately. The lighthouse was dark, the dock was empty. One set of oilskins remained hanging inside, suggesting one man had gone out into the storm without proper gear. The logbook entries described violent winds and terrified behavior, even though weather reports later suggested that the seas had been calm. The bodies were never recovered, and the mystery remains to this day. So what really happened on the Flannan Isles? Was it a rogue wave powerful enough to sweep all 3 men into the Atlantic? A tragic accident compounded by brutal weather? Or did something stranger happen on that isolated rock in the North Atlantic? Over the years, theories have ranged from sea monsters and ghost ships to paranormal forces, secret espionage, and even the island's supposed curse. This week, we're diving into one of the most chilling unsolved disappearances in maritime history, the Flannan Isles Lighthouse mystery.
All 3 of them were on the island together.
Yeah.
Okay, before hearing any further details, this is my conspiracy. I think they fell in love.
All
And I
3
think-
of them, it's like polyamory.
I think they fell in love.
Actually are a lot of nothing is verified. Just when you see like the
I'm like
YouTubers,
giddy for them.
the YouTubers online, there's theories that like there was a love triangle,
Yeah.
or that 2 of them were having an affair and one of them killed them because of it, or were they a
Yeah.
throuple who ran off?
Yeah.
I do not
Yeah.
believe that. We have no proof of that.
What if we fell in love at the lighthouse? I would read that.
I feel like they died in the sea.
But
No, they probably did, but
Yeah.
But shockingly, Colleen is not the first person to propose that. Even though Colleen always wants to find like the
gays.
LGBT
Yeah.
relationship and the mystery that
It's
explains
always
it all.
and it's not just like a hetero relate. It's always
like-
the LGBTQ plus.
Yes.
But picture the romance of being like isolated on an island, surrounded by sea,
But wasn't this her job?
and then
Yes,
they
your
like
job.
Yeah.
they get lonely, and then they fall. You ever see Brokeback Mountain? And then they fall in love.
Okay. You think ocean?
Yeah, I think they got lost in the ocean, or like a shark ate them, or
Okay.
maybe Nessie. I don't
Atlantic?
know.
Or what side of the UK are we on? The Atlantic.
Atlantic.
Okay, that's rough waters.
But isn't
Ugh.
Nessie really more?
Nessie's in the lake, in the walk.
Yeah, freshwater.
Yeah, Nessie's in the walk.
I just dropped Nessie for
Yeah.
Okay.
funsies.
Allegedly,
Allegedly,
there's rivers.
There's
The
also-
locks are all connected.
Yeah, and they also say that some of the theories about Nessie that we didn't talk about when we did our episode say that maybe she has portals that she goes through.
Yeah.
And portals.
You know,
Are you sure we didn't talk about that in the episode?
Loch Ness is the deepest lake there ever is, and like we don't know what's at the bottom.
Is it deeper than Lake Baikal?
I do think so.
I hate to fact check you, Colleen. Lake Baikal is vastly deeper than Loch Ness.
Anyways, 10%.
Lake Baikal is 5,400 feet deep, making it the deepest lake on Earth. Loch Ness is 750 feet. So,
750 feet? No way.
yeah. So Lake
Really?
Baikal is
I mean,
Seven-
let's mile half down.
that is still deep, but I'm just saying it's not the deepest lake.
I thought
Okay.
But
maybe
it's only 4 miles away. So
Rewind to like, months ago when we were going around the moon. And I kept thinking about that I was like, it is really taking them like over a week to get to the moon. And they're traveling so fast. And I kept thinking about Colleen being like, the moon, we to the moon is like Arlington to DC.
vertical.
Vertical. Look it up.
Vertical. Look it up.
I hope that they fell in love and escaped, but I think Kate's right. I think they probably died at sea somehow.
Fell in love and escaped in the 1900s.
Yeah.
Maybe they turn into vampires.
Oh.
There are mermen in this story.
Okay.
Start with that next time. Anyways, tell us about the gay lover lighthouse people.
Okay.
Lighthouse men? What do we call them?
We call them lighthouse keepers.
That's cute.
Yeah. In 1899, a lighthouse was built on an outpost in the remote islands of North Scotland. The Flannan Isles are about 90 small islands, only about 15 of which are inhabited, and they are located 80 miles off the Scottish coast. As Colleen told us, conditions here can be rough with gale force winds. Eilean Mòr, the largest of the islands, was home to the 75-foot wide stone structure located atop a 200-foot cliff. So this lighthouse was to get people around all of these islands.
And it was on top of the cliff.
Yes.
They fell off the cliff.
No.
Why is this even a mystery?
So this lighthouse was manned by 3 keepers.
Okay.
Marshall was the senior keeper.
Okay.
Okay.
Donald MacArthur and James Ducat were assistant keepers. It's going to get even more complicated than this because there is this thing called occasional keepers, which are like
PRN?
like locums, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
So they really only come in for like a week or 2 at a time to provide relief for the permanent keepers. So usually there's 4 keepers and they rotate every 2 weeks. One person goes home and the other 2 stay. So 4 keepers, 3 on the lighthouse at a time, and one of them on 2-week leave, and they rotate. But in this case, the 4th member of this group, MacArthur, was actually covering for William Ross, a permanent assistant keeper who was sick.
Okay.
Why do they need so many people? Do they not just keep the light on? There's no electricity.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part.
So
Right.
lighthouses now are generally automated.
This is like flames.
But this is
yeah.
1899 here. We're
Okay.
starting at.
I'm with you.
So again, these people would be like 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and they rotate through this group.
Okay.
So this lighthouse was about a year old at the time of this story. Okay. So December 26th, 1900, the Hesperus, a lighthouse relief tender, was sent to deliver supplies and perform a routine crew change. So usually this boat just comes again every 2 weeks. They drop off a new lightkeeper. They take one person home and they give them all of their
Supplies. Okay.
Provisions.
But it's kind of a process. So customarily, there would be this flag out that would greet them. There would be empty provision boxes ready, and there was this cable car. So like the tender somebody would be there to greet them, bring them in. They would load up this cable car with provisions and then, run them up to the lighthouse. But nobody was there to greet the Hesperus. The relief lighthouse keeper, Joseph Mòr, was sent ashore, and he climbed the 160 steps of the lighthouse. When he opened the door, he discovered an eerie scene. The clock on the wall was frozen, the table was set, and there was a canary sitting quietly in its cage.
Canary?
Canary, still alive.
That's
Oh
kind of
my
weird.
God.
There was no other evidence of life. Joseph Mòr wrote, "I did not take time to search further, for I only too well knew something serious had occurred. I darted out and made for the landing." He would return to the Hesperus, and after describing the scene, returned to the lighthouse with 2 sailors. They discovered an oilskin. So oilskin is like this heavy waterproof coat that lighthouse keepers usually wear to keep them dry.
Yep.
So one of those was sitting there. So this indicated at least one of the 3 lighthouse keepers had fled the lighthouse without appropriate weather gear. In a letter describing what he found, Joseph Mòr described Donald MacArthur as an occasional keeper and claimed that his coat was the one left behind. Because again, these are all buddies. They know each other.
Right.
This guy who came in and found it knows these 3 people pretty well.
Right.
So he said Marshall's sea boots and oilskin were missing, as were Ducat's boots, and he had not an oilskin, but like an old waterproof coat. So again, all that's left behind is this coat belonging to Donald MacArthur, the occasional keeper who was subbing in for someone's sick leave. As they investigated Eilean Mòr, they discovered iron railings bent in the wind, a railway track torn away from concrete, an enormous boulder having been dislodged, and a supply box which was used to hold ropes and tackles, smashed on the ground with contents strewn about.
Wait, why was there a railway track?
It's what I was saying, they used to like get the supplies.
Table
Oh,
car.
okay.
The investigation revealed that a vessel had passed the Flannan Islands at about midnight on December 15th, 11 days before this.
Okay.
A vessel passed the islands and reported in their log that no light had been seen.
Oh.
When they arrived to their port 3 days later, they reported, hey, the lighthouse was out. There was no light on. But this was not communicated to the Northern Lighthouse Board, who oversaw the lighthouse.
Okay.
When the investigators examined the lighthouse, they noted that the exterior gates and the building doors and windows were secure from the inside, and there were no signs of forced entry. Lamps were left burning, indicating that men had left it in a hurry. It was like everything was all set up for the lighthouse to be lit that night. They had done their chores, their cleaning, they had filled it with oil.
Something happened.
We were good to go. After the investigation is complete, Robert Moorhead, the lighthouse board superintendent, declared that 2 of the men had traveled to the West Landing at dinner time on December 15th, hoping to secure the ropes and supply box. He suspected that a large wave had gone above them and coming down with immense force had swept them completely away. The wind at that time was blowing into the west side of the island, so it would have had to have been a wave because he said if it was just wind, like Kate thought, it would push them into the island. It wouldn't have been pushing them
Off the island.
Okay.
Okay.
So he said, so it must have been a wave that came up on the west side
And then drag them out.
and dragged them down. He surmised that the third keeper ran out to help them and was also washed away. And this is supported by rumors that MacArthur had previously been fined for failing to secure the box. So one of these guys might have been like, we got to go, it's raining, we got to go secure the box, ran out there without his cold weather gear because he was so stressed. And then this happened. Or maybe he went out to rescue the two people. That's why he fled without his gear. The lighthouse keepers are never permitted to leave the lighthouse unattended. So one of them always has to be there when they're doing chores and that kind of thing.
Right.
So they were like, it would be really abnormal. Something would have had to have happened to make this third person break the rules and flee. So if we believe the official story from Robert Moorhead,
The wave
would have had to have been over 110 feet high. They did say that 200 feet up at the base, there's some grass and then there's like the lighthouse, that there was evidence that grass had been ripped up and destroyed. So are we to believe there was a 200-foot rogue wave that took these people out? And it would have been not only one rogue wave, but two, right? Because a wave would have had to have taken out these people. The other guy runs out to help them and
then
he gets taken out by a wave.
Yeah, because they're high up above the water.
Yes.
They're 200 feet above the water.
Do you want to make a guess? I know you guys like to play this game.
Yeah.
Want to make a guess what the largest officially recorded wave?
Like a tsunami.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking I don't think there's been any tsunamis that are like over 100 feet.
Bingo.
It's like what, 70 feet is the highest?
So what I found is that the largest officially recorded wave was a 100-foot tsunami that struck Alaska in 1958.
Wow, Alaska.
I did also see, though, somewhere that there was a lighthouse in Ireland that was damaged by a wave in 1985 that they estimated to be 150 feet. But anyway, it was saying, again, officially recorded wave, 100 feet is the max. So, the idea that there would be a 200-foot rogue wave that would have come in to do this.
Yeah, seems weird.
Yeah.
Sounds like a double homicide, suicide.
Was that more like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then throw the bodies off the cliffs.
So the thing is, too, that
that
we do have some evidence, I'll talk about this in a moment, that there was, between this December 15th and December 26th window, there was some bad weather.
Yeah.
But not really evidence that, on December 15th, when we estimate they disappeared, the weather wasn't that bad then. And that other boat that went by and said, hey, the light's out, how were they able to get, they said it was calm but stormy. How were they able to get to port if this weather was so bad that it took these people out? So the story that circulates about this case is that when they reviewed the logbooks, the investigators, there was an entry on December 12th in which Marshall recorded that a great storm was hitting the Isle, claiming it was the worst storm he had ever seen. He claimed that Ducat was quiet and MacArthur was weeping. A later entry reported them all praying in the eye of the storm, and then a final entry on December 15th claimed the storm had passed and all was quiet. He made no mention of anyone dying or being injured, so if they were alive after the storm, that story kind of falls apart. If he's documenting December 15th that the storm has passed and we're all good, then that would be weird. Mike Dash, a reporter and nonfiction author, looked into this and found the story of the December 12th to 15 logs all started circulating later in a 1921 magazine, True Confessions, and was repeated over time. So this story that has been told for 100 years is not, of just this log part, is not real.
Oh.
Yep.
He pointed out that it would be completely unprofessional for the logbook to contain descriptions of people's feelings and that sort of thing. This wasn't a diary. This is an official log of weather and And it would have been MacArthur's responsibility to keep the logs, not Marshall's. So he kind of debunked this whole story. He thinks that people were already into trying to solve this mystery and somebody just made this up to thicken the plot.
That's crazy.
The real story about the logs, the first-hand accounts from the investigators say that the last written entries into the keeper's logs were from December 13th, but they had a slate. So they would write notes on a slate and then it would get transcribed into the logbook.
Okay.
So the logbook was updated up to December 13th. On the slate, there were details for December 14th, including extinguishing the light on December 15th in the morning, as well as a barometer, thermometer, and wind readings all recorded at 9 a.m. on December 15th. So we know that at 9 a.m. on December 15th, they were alive. The lamp appeared ready to be lit, so based upon this documentation and the reports of the ship that reported that the light was not on December 15th, we can surmise that something happened on the afternoon of December 15th. And sunset was at 4 p.m. Does that just give you like a seasonal effect of just sort of thinking about it?
4 p.m.
Sunset was at 4 p.m. So if that boat went by and it was not lit, something had to have happened before 4 p.m. After the daily chores were done in the morning, before it was lit at 4 p.m. There was also a lifeboat that was missing, but it appeared that there were pieces of canvas attached to the securing ropes, indicating it had likely been torn off the ropes. So again, what we know is that there was a storm on December 20th, but again, not so bad on December 15th.
Right.
So some of this damage you see, like the boat being missing and that damage to the grass, might have happened 5 days after they disappeared.
Right.
Because how long did it take them to figure out that they were missing?
11 days.
Oh, that's definitely from the 20th storm. Yeah.
So here are the theories if you don't believe this was a rogue wave or wind.
I like the murder-suicide.
Okay.
I like that.
That is one of the theories. A couple people throw in this like love triangle
Yeah, I
that
also
has
like
no
that.
proof that they
Yeah,
just
but
want
like,
to believe.
it's cute. And like all period piece LGBT stories, they end in death and zero happiness. So it's accurate.
Donald MacArthur was the occasional lighthouse keeper that I told you subbed in. He had a reputation for being a bit of a hothead. So pretty much any of the theories that there was foul play amongst like one of these three did it, people would allege it was most likely Donald MacArthur. Did he start a fight and they all fell off the cliff? Also, why would he take them out to fight on a cliff?
Right.
Did he kill them in a fit of rage and then commit suicide? Was being stuck on the island for 19 days without any human contact beyond these other two people, did it just drive him mad? You said you wouldn't want to be on.
What if they got like the flu
Where are their bodies?
in the ocean? Like what if they went like,
The flu made them all jump into the ocean?
what if?
What if they get encephalopathic?
Yeah.
He was former military. He had come directly from another job, so he probably was already
That's crazy.
he was probably already stressed and tired. I just don't understand how flu equals.
You're like septic and you're overheating and then you run out of your lighthouse and then you just accidentally fall off the cliff.
But why is the clock?
Here's
The
another.
clock is weird, actually. Hold on.
Well, no, not really, because if you think about it,
They run out of battery.
old-fashioned clock, you got to wind it.
Oh, that's true.
So if it doesn't get wound every week, I mean, it was more than a week. I think it's like creepy to describe that they went in and like time had stopped. But
Oh, really? It's
probably the
just
clock had just not been wound.
a wine clock
Valid.
every week.
Here is one of the theories if you're talking about encephalopathic
Mhm.
patients.
Mhm.
These large Fresnel lighthouse lenses, like the one in the Flannan Isles Lighthouse, they float on baths of liquid mercury.
Oh my God.
So the massive lens assemblies could rotate smoothly with very little friction.
Well, here you go. They had mercury poisoning.
Over time, workers maintaining these systems could potentially inhale mercury vapor, especially in enclosed lantern rooms with poor ventilation, but usually this requires chronic mercury exposure. So
Yeah.
symptoms would be tremors, anxiety, paranoia, hallucinations, memory problems, insomnia, mood swings and irritability, and cognitive decline. But again, we don't really see this happening over a period of days. This usually takes years, and it's a like slower progressive onset.
It is. That's why they call them the Mad Hatters.
That's right. If you want to stay on this murder theory,
Yeah.
there is another suspect.
What if they just fell down the hill?
What if they were goofing off?
All
looking at
three
it.
fell down.
Is this the military guy? He definitely
Look
killed
at
someone.
that mustache.
That guy, look at his eyes.
Dead inside.
He's dead inside. That guy
Also,
killed him.
that's like a
He's
really.
got those eyes. That's a thing where you can see the white underneath them.
I think that's like an 1800s photo that has like over penetration.
It doesn't matter.
Over penetration. I'll tell you, over
This guy moved.
penetration.
He's making sure nobody knows who he is.
He's smart.
He is smart.
Okay, what's the murder, Megan?
Roderick Mackenzie was this gamekeeper who lived on an island 18 miles east on the Isle of Lewis. And he was paid by the lighthouse people to sort of keep an eye. Because again, there's no phones. So like we're like, how is the Northern Lighthouse Board going to know
Right.
if something goes wrong at the lighthouse?
Right.
So that's Roderick Mackenzie's job. So they had a system set up where they could send a distress signal to him. And if he noticed anything out of sorts, like the light not being lit, he was supposed to report that to the Northern Lighthouse Board. Again, he is getting a salary to do this.
Yeah.
Well, after the disappearance was discovered, they reached out to him, and he admitted he had not seen the light for 8 days.
And he never reported it?
He said the first 7, he was convinced that the har, which is like sea mist, was just obstructing the view. But the 8th day was clear, and he still didn't see any light. He never reported it.
What?
In fact, from December 7th, when Joseph Mòr last saw his coworkers, until December 25th, he had only seen the light on 2 times. So the only reason people are like, did he kill him, is because why was he so unhelpful?
Right.
Yeah, why didn't he report it?
And
What's
also,
the excuse?
theoretically, he is like the closest person to, he can take his little tender
Right.
on over.
Yeah.
There's also some folklore about the Mòr that predated the disappearance.
Okay.
Many believed the islands were inhabited by, this is their term, little people. These are fairy-like entities from Gaelic folklore.
I was like, what little people are we talking about?
Why don't you just call them fairies, Megan?
The Moors call them little people.
Okay.
Wait, maybe like leprechauns.
Fairy-like entities from Gaelic folklore. In Highland tradition, remote islands, caves, and cliffs were often viewed as thin places where the boundary between the human world and the spirit world was weaker.
Yes,
I like
I'm
that.
following.
Yep.
Rumor is that shepherds who visited the island refused to stay overnight. Fishermen would remove their hats when passing the island as a sign of respect. And there's also another fable about a sleeping giant who slept beneath the cliffs, and that loud noises or disrespect could awaken dangerous forces.
Well,
Now, some people believe
it was the little
that
people.
the little people did something, or these secret giants did something.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all the folklore.
Okay. I like that folklore. I appreciate that.
I hope they brought them into the fairy world and didn't kill them.
There's also
They could be gay together.
Yeah. There should be a movie. There should be a movie.
there's also kelpies.
Okay.
Oh, these are the seal people, right? They turn in, they're humans, but also are also seals. Anyways, 10%.
People think of them as sort of mermaid-like, but they're really mostly horses. So the kelpie is a shape-shifting water spirit that primarily haunts the deep lochs and lonely pools of
Yeah,
Scotland.
wait.
Most commonly, they appear as a magnificent, powerful horse roaming the water's edge. It entices weary travelers or curious children to mount its back. However, the moment a victim touches the creature, its skin acts like an inescapable adhesive, trapping them completely. The kelpie then plunges into the murky depths to drown and devour its prey, leaving behind only the entrails. While it usually adopts the form of an equine, often distinguishable by constantly dripping mane, it can also shift into human form, frequently appearing as a handsome stranger with water weeds tangled in its hair. Okay, so did a kelpie get them?
I don't know. I don't think I believe in kelpies.
Kelpies generally live in lochs. They don't like salt water.
Okay. That makes sense because of their skin.
Yeah.
Factually,
They would shrivel.
So that's the reason I'm not believing the kelpies. Okay. On the island, there was also a tiny chapel called St. Flannan's Chapel, and
Okay.
sailors would visit it to perform rituals like walking around it clockwise for protection, and they would leave offerings to St. Flannan. There are theories that they may have been punished for violating sacred ground with the building of the lighthouse, and the island demanded the sacrifice of 3 people, because 3 is an occult number, to appease the island. In reality, a lot of these elaborate occult tales and folklore didn't circulate until after the disappearance. So it's like the story of the bad logs that the story circulates and people start to build on it to make it more exciting. There's also a theory out there that I wasn't able to verify. I looked. There was a story that they may have encountered survivors of a wrecked Scandinavian vessel.
Oh.
So maybe they went to help this distressed boat.
Vikings.
Well, this is in the 1900s.
This is a little late.
Well, when's the Vikings?
Way earlier than that.
What about
Yeah.
pirates?
That's a good thought.
We still have pirates,
Yeah.
Pirates is a good thought,
Um,
actually. Hold on.
So there was one podcast that was like, there was in fact a Norwegian wreckage. So this might be the story, but I couldn't find. That's all the information I have. I do have I think this story did kind of evolve. There was this there's a very famous poem about Flannan Isle that kind of, I think, added a lot of these tales. But anyway, I have a thought. I have an opinion. What do you guys think?
Let me just walk through
Recap for us.
recap just in my head. We don't think it's a wave because the wave would have to have been massive.
Yes.
But what if they were just casually lower on the island and a smallish wave could have gone?
Maybe, but again, the thought would be that this white lighthouse could never be left unattended.
But
So
I
it's
bet
not
they broke
like,
that rule.
It's not like the three of
It
them.
had to have been like they were in trouble and somebody rushed out.
Exactly.
That's what I think that's like.
They weren't like
Yeah.
having a picnic
Right.
together. Okay, so you think rogue waves?
No, I'm just trying to
Oh,
think
okay.
process. And then the wind would have pushed them into the island, but what if they were but it's an island. What if wind came from the other direction and pushed them off?
I mean, they could have gone out the
Wind?
east.
Yeah.
The reason that they've determined that they must have been on the west side of the island is because they found that box that was open with like rope and stuff. And they thought they were probably trying to secure everything for the storm.
Okay.
But you're right. Maybe they weren't on the west side. Maybe they were on the east side and it was windy.
I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking an accident of some sort in an emergency. But for all of their bodies to have gone missing, like it had to have been wind or the water.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any wild animals out there that would have eaten them?
The kelpies.
Maybe sea creatures.
But no, like wild.
But that was a
animals.
really small.
It's an island.
That
yeah.
is a pretty small
Yeah.
island.
So there's nothing that's like native to that island.
Well, there were stories of 3 black crows that were waiting for the relief when they approached.
Oh,
That's also been debunked, though. Someone made up that
oh
detail.
okay.
Birds.
Yeah, but birds seem they more like pick at things. There would be remains, not like a bear.
I'm thinking
something.
accident of some sort. Somebody slipped and hit their head.
Again, it's like you would just expect that there would be like a body.
Well, so were there any provisions found? Like, were any of the provisions like stolen?
Also,
I don't think so. That's a great question. If
Here's
someone
a
came
thought.
onto the island and robbed them.
Yeah,
And
and like
that was
that's
not-
why one of the boxes was kind of on the other side.
well, I don't think the box was a provision box.
No, I know, but like maybe they didn't know that, and then they went to go get them, and then they got.
No, I think the box
Killed.
lived where it was.
Oh,
here's
okay.
a thought.
Mhm.
What if they all got hurt somehow? Okay. And then, like, 2 people got hurt. Sure. And then there's 1 person left. And then the storm came on the 20th. Because they weren't found until after that, right?
Found
So
the
what if the
bodies.
bodies were there, but got blown away on the storm that was allegedly reported on the 20th?
You know what? That's not a bad
That's probably what happened.
because there was a boulder that they said weighed more than I think a human body
Yeah, that was moved.
that had moved.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
That's probably what I'm leaning more. Like something happened that they all got incapacitated or whatever. And then a storm came days later.
an enormous a 1-ton boulder had been shifted from its position.
Oh, they got blown into the ocean. There's not a doubt in my mind. If a boulder could be moved,
1 ton.
that's a lot.
That's a big boulder.
That's a nice boulder.
You can just roll down the hill at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
but-
to be
now I'm believing the giant theory.
Hold on.
the giant was
Wait a
mad
second.
underneath the cliff.
I think realistically, they got hurt and blown away in the following storm. Unrealistically, it was the giants and the little people.
But what about the love triangle?
I also want that to happen.
I don't know. She wants it to happen. Does she believe it?
She
I
doesn't.
don't know.
I think that like the nature of it had to have been 2 people were caught in something.
Mm-hmm.
They called for help. The 3rd person heard them, went
Or maybe saw them because
right.
he was manning the lighthouse, so where he should have had a view of whatever was happening on the island.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then ran to him, and then whatever happened became their fate.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even if you don't believe the waves were big enough to pull someone under, they at least probably were big enough to make the grass slick or
Yeah.
like the rocks slippery, right? So again, but I'm just like, all 3 of them slipped.
I know.
I mean,
It's like the fact that if it was one lighthouse keeper, I feel like you could easily.
And like, why would you go outside in a storm?
That's what they're saying too. They're like these theories about like a fight. They're like, why would they go outside in a storm to fight? If they were getting in a fight, they could just fight in the lighthouse,
Right.
Or like, yeah, in general. So I think a lot of why people are like, this official story they told us of this rogue wave is not realistic because lighthouse keepers know like a storm is coming. You
lock in.
bunker
Yeah.
down.
Right.
You don't say like, let's go do some errands or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
I think that this story has evolved and gotten more and more dramatic over time because again, there's a lot of rumors that were not reported early on that have now kind of been inserted into the story. And then I told you there was this 1912 poem that dramatized the story, and
Please read it in a voice.
it added further embellishments. Let me
Read it in a voice.
It's so long, and that's where they talk about tables and chairs overturned and made up logs and 3 blackbirds waiting when the relief ship arrived. It's called Flannan Isle if you're going to look it up. This is when the stories of the keepers behaving irrationally or something more sinister than a tragic accident took place. So it sounds like the theories, like 1900, like, okay, it was a wave, that's what happened. And then all this press came out, this poem came out, plot thickened, and suddenly people were like, oh, wait, it's the giant, or it's something else had to have happened. So I think, yeah, it was probably some sort of tragic accident. I'm, again, clear to me how every single body was able to wash into the ocean, like that there's really just no evidence. You would think there'd be like someone with a head trauma or something, but
or blood or something.
I don't believe they were taken out by multiple freak waves, but maybe the ground was slick and they were blown off by gusts of wind.
Could have been icy.
Yeah.
And it's Scotland, so it's always raining. Do we know anything about their personal lives? Are they married with kids?
2 of the 3 are married with kids.
There goes my gay theory. Could still be a thing, but
yeah.
It's
I'm sorry, do you watch SVU on the down low, you know?
Yeah.
Could there have been like a flash type of storm, like a flash flood, flash winds, like something very quickly that like came on and quick onset, quick offset, you know what I mean? Like
it's the ocean, right? Like you never know.
The ocean is a scary place.
It is. I don't mean like a tidal wave, but like a
big old storm,
freak hurricane,
or like a water spout.
I mean, maybe it was Amelia Earhart style, and there were some crabs that came in and ate these bodies. Maybe it was an octopus.
Maybe it was the Philadelphia ship, and the ghost ship popped up. Portal, time stops. Tanner believes me.
I'm with it.
Okay, these are a lot of great theories, but it sounds like on a serious note, we're all believing weather.
Yeah, especially back then. Like, there's not a lot. There's no sonar, like radar. There's no real way to figure this out. So of course it's going to be a mystery because there's no eyewitnesses, and that's all you have back then is like eyewitness accounts. It's not like they had helis that could go with their spotlights and go into.
There's no Coast Guard.
Yeah,
it was definitely the weather, but I like a little gay love story.
Guys, just a reminder, don't forget to check out our Facebook and Instagram pages at 3 Scheme Queens. That's the number 3, Scheme Queens, all one word. We're also on Reddit, same username. If you want to check out our website, go to 3schemequeens.com and you can find links to our social media accounts, our Buzzsprout page, all of our episodes, additional content, and our contact page where you can engage with us and share any updates on the topics that we have discussed. Let us know how we're doing and what you want to hear next. There are also opportunities to financially support us with links to buy us a cup of coffee and links to our merch store. As always, if you choose not to financially support us, we appreciate the follows, the downloads, the listens, the likes. Kate, what should the people do?
Yeah, if you like this episode, I want you to scroll on down, leave us a 5-star review, interact with us on our social media, share a comment, and then I want you to take your phone out and text 3 people that you really think would like this episode. Maybe some people who like Scotland.
Or like lighthouses.
Or from the Outer Banks of North Carolina, where there's a multitude of lighthouses, for which I did lots of projects on, because I hail from North Carolina. Yep. And, yeah, Maggie.
That sounds good. What do the people have to look forward to this season then? Maybe some more sea creatures? Maybe some ghost ships?
Ghost ships are kind of
possible. Selkie.
Ghost ships are crazy for the same reason I think this story is creepy, is the idea of just like showing up and it just being like,
I don't know if you guys have ever heard
lived in but empty.
Yeah, that's weird.
So we'll see you next Tuesday for
another fun episode.